So here we go for the final time this year for the Ohvale. 3 races to go this afternoon, and let's have a look at how they line up for Ohvale Race 2. Harley McCabe, new champion on pole position from Ruben Bray. Laken Payne in 3rd from Wilson Dilks, Marco Holt and Arnie Carr qualifying in 6th position. 7th for George Bowes, 8th was Lewis Mullen, Luke Hopkins 9th. Cameron Ancliffe 11th position from Izzy Carter, 12th this morning in the qualifying. 13th for Pierce Reeves from Luca Wilkinson, Kobe Garbett in 15th place, Jack Newton, Dan Deering and Henry McCartney 18th place with no time, Daniel Stevenson and Warwick Brady rounding out the 20 rider field. So it's been a real hit this year, the Ohvale Cup.
Looking at that, there's a few spots of rain as well. There was the odd spot while I was out there, but yeah, it'll be more of a problem for the kids than it will be for us adults.
Well, let's have a look now as they line up, and the last few riders are in position. Of course, you're the man behind Ohvale very much in the UK. You've had a real big part to play in this series so far. There's a few more riders here than Teesside than there were at Ella Park. A few people joining the series, so you must be pleased to see how well it's going. Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been fantastic. We're watching the start right now. And away they go. Oh, Marco's stalled again. That's the second time he's done that. He did that in the first race as well. He's never started a geared bike before, so he's obviously having a few clutch problems there. But everyone else away nice and safely and smoothly, so that's good. Marco's got going again, so that's good. But yeah, I've been I'm the UK importer for Ohvale's, and it's been great. You know, I took it on in November last year, so we're just about at a year now. Heading forwards, and it's been great. You know, the kids have been absolutely awesome. It's great to see some of the talent coming through. See Dan Stevenson going up the inside of Izzy just there. It's been awesome. You know, I couldn't have asked for much more. I was planning to try and get 15 riders on the grid by the time we got to this final race, and we had 15 at round 1. So that tells you how well it's been going. That's very good, of course, as the action on the track here with Ruben Bray taking a nice move around the outside of the inaugural champion in that first race, of course, Harley McCabe. So let's see if McCabe can fight back here. Bray looked very threatening in that first race, perhaps unlucky not to get victory, and he's got the lead this time. McCabe round the outside. Oh, has a look down the inside there. So is starting looking at the commentary booth here. There's some real drops of rain on the commentary booth now. So Peter, when this happens, of course, we started the race now under relatively dry conditions. It is starting to rain here. Will that be a factor for the riders? Yeah, it could quite well be, although actually I would say 99% of the grid, if not all of them, are actually still on their wet tyres because the kids are so light. They don't really destroy the wet tyres in the dry so much like what us adults would do. So because the colder conditions, we said to them earlier in the day that, you know, if it looks like it's going to stay dry, we'll allow you to even use the wets, because they're not allowed to use the wets unless it is actually declared a wet race. But there still is the odd damp patch about there anyway. So we said to them, look, we're quite happy for you to carry on with the wets, and I would say everyone's done that. Yeah, it looks the case, and so hopefully that rain won't affect them too much. Slippery out there at the moment, but Ruben Bray looking good at the moment, just under 0.2 of a second ahead of Harley McCabe as a look down the back straight. That is a really technical part of the track through that chicane. I'll tell you what, Peter, we saw you battling in that previous race. You've really got to be committed into that chicane, because you've got the racing line there, just narrows up. And it's a brave move to make a move into that chicane. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a fast part of the track there. Even on these 110s, they'll be flat out all the way through it, and on our 190s, nearly all the way to that last chicane before the hairpin is pin. You know, it's pretty fast. It must be 80+ mile an hour. I know some of these 110s have been clocked at kind of 67 to 70 mile an hour. So it's for these 8-year-olds upwards, it's you know, it's a fast bike. But these the Ohvale GP0s are a great working bike. Everyone who's ridden one's really impressed with how they handle, and they do really handle like a modern superbike. It appears that way when you watch them going through the corners here. We've got some thrilling racing on here. Ruben Bray still leads the race, but of course the new champion Harley McCabe looking to round things off in style here. He's just under 0.2 of a second down, 1:21.25, fastest lap of the race, but they're almost identical on pace. Just to recap the rest of the field, Wilson Dilks 3rd, Luke Hopkins, Laken Payne, Lewis Mullen a little bit further behind, taking us down to 6th place. Blake Wilson's in 7th. He's not up on the screen, but that's Blake. He's on one of my higher bikes, or the red bikes. So he rented it the last round, and he's out on it again this weekend. He's been not enjoying the wet conditions quite so much, but obviously today pretty much 2 dry races now, so he's a little bit further up the field. Good to see. Yeah, there's Blake Wilson. There's the number 8. That's Wilson we're talking. Oh, he has a look down the in. There was brave there on Lewis Mullen, but Mullen had the line. He seems to be, I think this is a bit like the first race, actually. Speaking of Blake Wilson, the number 8, he's currently in 7th place. He just seemed to, as the race goes on, just seem to almost, sounds silly, but growing confidence almost. Just seems to get a bit more brave down the inside, make some moves on some of the established riders.
Yeah, and because these guys have all weekend, we've actually been here since Thursday, so we did an Ohvale test day on the Thursday, so we booked the circuit just for ourselves, and all the kids get to come and ride for free, so they all can turn up as much as they want. We do an open pit lane, they can ride all day, as many laps as they want, and most of these guys have been here since then. But it's been wet all the time, so every single day has been wet. So this morning the warm-up was still wet, but then that first race was actually pretty dry. So that's the first time these riders have ridden this track in the dry this weekend. So it takes a little bit of time to get going, and obviously each rider has a different level of confidence already, and they learn and adapt in different styles and different ways, as you see. Blake looking down the inside again, but yeah, some of them pick it up really fast, other riders take another lap or two to get going. So it's good to see the differences in all the riders.
Well, you certainly haven't looked there. It was Lewis Mullen keeps the pressure. Oh, it's slippery at the top there. You can see the slip inside line there as the rain continues to fall. Just to recap the rest of the field, Cameron Ancliffe in 9th, George Bowes, the 67, is just behind Wilson. Then we've got Marco Holt 10th, Luca Wilkinson 11th, Daniel Stevenson, Jack Newton, Kobe Garbett currently in 14th position, Pierce Reeves, Izzy Carter and Dan Deering rounding up the field as we focus on this entertaining battle here between Laken Payne, Lewis Mullen and Blake Wilson, just a little bit further behind, just over 4 laps to go, as Ruben Bray and Harley McCabe still duke it out for the lead. It's very close indeed. As the rain continues to fall, you may see 1 or 2 raindrops just in front of it. It looks a little bit more ginger through that long right-hander. It just seems to tighten on itself. Yeah,
it does. A long old corner, that one. 4th gear on our bikes. I'm not entirely sure what these guys are doing. It'll be 3rd or 4th. I'll probably put my money on it. There'll be 4th gear through that one, and then 3rd back for the 2 hairpins. But yeah, it's a fast corner.
Of course, the race you were just in, the Mini GP, you're racing because you're an adult racing against some of the youth riders. You might have perhaps pardon me saying the pedigree, you might say, the experience, but these riders, of course, are a lot lighter, weigh a lot less. Is that power to weight ratio thing an issue for you?
It can be, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you saw in that last race, you know, the lad, the young lad who were racing against Goodman, isn't it? I think that was with us. Yeah, he was down that back straight. He would just pass us like we're stood still, you know, and that's just purely down to weight, you know, more than anything. But yeah, it's good fun. It's good for someone like him as well, because it does mean that he can learn in the corners, even though we're a bit faster than him. And then what he does lose in the corners, he can gain back in the straight line, which means that he's got a chance to actually learn again. So it's why the good that 7190 class race fastness, 7190 class is so good, is because these 12-year-olds upwards can race with people like myself and like Barry Burrell in the first race and like Ty Kinton there in that second race. You know, it gives them chance to actually learn off people that have been doing it a long time and have a lot of experience.
That's a good point. It's almost like a natural handicap system, I'd say, with the weight. As we look again here at Harley McCabe, of course, he won the title in the first race, and he's certainly not resting on his laurels here as he pressurises Ruben Bray, who has been very impressive today, perhaps unlucky not to win the first race, and Bray is not giving this one up lightly. Into the top corner they go. McCabe, even in these difficult changing weather conditions as the rain continues to fall, 1:20.99, fastest lap of the race, and really putting the pressure on Ruben Bray. Has a peek down the inside. Oh, he had to back out of that one though. Bray had the line. Looks a bit slippery on that top corner. Here they come towards the back straight. And actually, Peter, noticing some of the riders drifting wide on this approach to the straight, is that purely just to try and get a bit more drive down the back straight?
Yeah, absolutely. So generally speaking, if you're slow in and you're a bit wider, then what it does mean is your exit's normally really fast, and you're able to get on the gas a lot easier. Dan Deering, yeah, back marker just getting in the way there. Dan Deering did what he should do, held his line, you know. Unfortunately for Ruben there, he kind of got caught up in it a bit like he did in the first race, to be quite honest. But normally when you're the first rider to the back marker, it helps. But I think Ruben obviously chose to go to the outside then, which actually ended up not working for him at all. But that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, a bit of bad luck there for Ruben Bray. Picked the wrong line there, and that allows McCabe through, but Bray certainly not giving up. We've got 2 laps to go, plus the lap they are on. Just to recap, Luca Hopkins in 3rd position, Wilson Dilks, Laken Payne 5th, Lewis Mullen, Blake Wilson in 7th from George Bowes, Marco Holt, Cameron Ancliffe in 10th position, Luca Wilkinson, Daniel Stevenson 12th, Jack Newton, Kobe Garbett in 14th from Pierce Reeves, Izzy Carter and Dan Deering, who's just been lapped in 17th place. So everyone's still in the race, of course. 2 laps to go, and Ruben Bray is not giving this one up as we get to the top of the track now. Let's see what he does in the top corner. Can he try and get the drive down the back straight? So Ruben Bray, small mistake there, lost him the lead, but he's certainly not throwing in the towel.
Absolutely not. No, he's a determined rider, to say the least, is Ruben, and he's been riding really, really good this weekend. It's been awesome to see. His commitment through that first chicane and into this turn 2 has been absolutely fantastic by this paddock bit here. Obviously, we can see it a bit more, but he's been really, really good. He's been riding the best he's been all year, and he's gaining in confidence round by round. And talking to confidence, Marco, who stalled on the start line, obviously went back to 17th. He's up to 9th now, so that's good to see. Marco's coming right back through the field. He should have started, or he did start 5th, apart from stalling on the line. So two races in a row. But fingers crossed he'll get that clutch control sorted out in time for next year.
Now, this is interesting because you've got midfield riders battling for position, and of course the issue is for the leaders. We've got to try and get through. Etiquette says you want to try and let the leaders through if you can, but nonetheless you don't want to throw your own race away because they're having their own battle, which is just as important to them. Yeah,
I mean, they're all told that they've got to hold the line. Unfortunately, Ruben got caught up again then in the wrong spot at the wrong time, but I think there's someone gone down there as well.
Possibly. Oh, that's
Kobe Garbett.
Kobe Garbett, is it?
I think maybe he got caught up with Ruben just a little bit then as they flicked through. Yeah, he must have.
Red machine. That's Garbett, isn't it? I think the red bike.
Yeah, it is Kobe down there. Yeah, fingers crossed he's all right.
So wave yellows, he's walking away at least, so that's good. That's a good sign. As the rest of the top 10 make their way, that's a very fast part of the track actually. So the marshals doing a great job. Got the wave yellows out, the riders slowing down. Good to see them obeying of course these young riders obeying the flag signals. The race goes on, of course, and Harley McCabe looks like he's got this one in the bag, but we've still got half a lap to go. And Ruben Bray is certainly not giving up. Here they come into this long right-hander through the chicane. They go for the final time. And here we go, Ruben Bray, one last attempt now. He lost a little bit of time lapping the slower riders. Here they come into the right-hander, and at the moment, McCabe's got enough in the bag.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ruben, obviously got caught up with the back markers there. It'll be interesting to watch that back. I think he must have got tangled up with Kobe one way or another. I'm not entirely sure exactly what happened, but hopefully we can have a watch of that back later on. But another win for Harley, and Ruben done again by back markers, which is very unfortunate for him. But like I said before, sometimes that's just the way it goes, and you got to take the rough with the smooth.
That's it. So very well said. And Harley McCabe, of course, is the inaugural OMG Racing Ohvale champion. And of course, that's your first champion, you might say, for 2020 in what's effectively, you might say, your series. What's any words about Harley McCabe this year?
Yeah, it's been great. Like I said already, you know, all the riders have absolutely been fantastic. Harley's obviously the one that stood out. He's won most of the races, and he's been very, very fast right from the start. He's been really neat and tidy. He's respected in the paddock. He's always been going up to all the other riders, whether they're finishing near him or further down the field, and always been, you know, on hand to help with them all. So he's been a really worthy champion. Good to see Luke Hopkins actually finished third in that race. He was ninth on the grid, so he's come from a long way back to get into third, and he did that in the race one as well. So he was the person who was closest to Harley this weekend, who could have possibly won the championship. But yeah, it's been a great year overall, and I'm really happy with how the riders have been, and looking forward to hopefully the championship growing more and more into next year.
Yeah, we look forward to 2021, where there's been really good prospects, some new riders joining the grid, of course, next year as well as some more machines being sold. So all bodes well. And looking at some of this great racecraft, even all the way through the field, like you say, some of the slow riders taught just to hold their line, not worry about the faster riders, let their own way, because it can be intimidating for a beginner, I suppose, to get faster to read people coming through. Yeah. So the racecraft all the way through the field does seem to be very strong when you consider how young these riders are.
Yeah, absolutely that. And you know, we don't use a blue flag here, so for normal adult racing, you'll get a blue flag if you're somebody who's going to get back marked, if you're going to get lapped. But obviously for the kids, they feel that it's not, you know, we can spook them before they need to be spooked. So we're better off just not using the blue flag and allow the faster riders to pass them as they come through, which is generally speaking how they come on.